All right, we're back with another episode of Ran Out of Talent. How's it going tonight, Zach?
Um, Not too bad. How about yourself, Joe?
Going pretty okay. You know, um, been racing. I took a little bit of a break, and then I'm back at it full force. It seems like you've been back at it a little bit as well.
Yeah. So I raced this last Sunday, and I'm gonna race. I'm going down to the Roar Nats Tuesday,
Nice.
less than a week, and so I'll be practicing at end control with a few other people before the race, and then try not to suck.
Yeah. Well, if you're gonna be slow, you'll at least be consistent because you had another
Yes.
98%er on Sunday.
I did. Even with traffic, they were kind enough to let me run with them, but I had to um, not run some people over because I'm a mod car running with stock cars essentially.
Right. Yeah, that's tough. I mean, well, we've all been there for the most part. Yeah. So anyway, I've been so I didn't plan on racing a couple weeks ago, but my buddy Clayton goes, "Hey, you have that oval car? Come down to Kellogg, Minnesota, and race it. It's about 2 hours away from my house." I'm like, "Yeah, it's like, yeah, whatever, maybe." And he's like, "I got tires for you." It's like, kind of have to go now. It was the most fun I've had racing oval so far with the sprint car and so much grip. Um, the grip was just that's a situation where you run mod, okay? Because we're running 13.5 sprint,
Hmm.
and in the main, I'm just pinned, hoping I don't touch anything or I'll rip a corner off my car. But it was a blast. I loved it was a high bank tri oval. Each corner was different. It was fun. Then I raced fifth scale last Saturday, took a TQ and win with that one. And then Sunday, sorry, we raced that charity parking lot event. It was a parking lot race and a car show. And I'm not going to bring my TikTok up again because last time I do it pulls up random videos. But I got a new drone and I was doing drone footage of the car show and all that stuff is cool. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, hopefully I might be out for the next couple weeks. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
How
Jacob Sliceberger checking in. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. How did the besides the car show? How did the parking lot racing go?
Qualified second in slash, but ended like fifth or something like that, which, it was still fun. And then in rally, I want to say I ended up second or third. I ended up third in rally and ended up third overall in the points with that one, too. It wasn't even my car.
Hmm.
I was borrowing a buddy's. That rally car was pretty fun to run. Joey Carlson talking about that new SR27 from Associated. Now, here's a question, Zach. Did you see the new Team Associated SR27?
I didn't. Let me go look it up here.
Yeah, I can pull it up as well, and I can bring it on the screen. What I think that they are doing, and I can't be certain of this, but it almost seems like they're importing a Chinese RC car for it to be a toy, and people are like, well, this will be competition to the Mini Z. And I'm like, maybe, you know. Here, I'll pull this up. Sorry, it takes me a second. Like I said, I need to get a producer that works for nothing.
Sorry, my
uh,
internet cut out. I'm surprised they didn't kick me off.
oh yeah, I see. Okay, select window, Audacity. Huh.
Okay.
I think this is the right one. Let's see. Yes. All right. Okay, so this is the new Team Associated.
How big are
The
these things?
I think
Are they 127?
27. Yeah,
Okay. So they're real small.
yeah. But it's the size of a mini Z, I believe. Come on, it won't
Oh,
go.
is it?
Yeah, there it goes. So there's the radio, there's the car. I like the case it comes with, if it does come with that case. But I love the Datsun bodies. I'm the biggest Datsun fan. I've been wanting a mid to late 70s Z car my whole life.
Feel like for $120 you should get more.
Yeah, this is all it is. And look at the one spring down the center, kind of like a 12 scale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I agree. But it's something different. I don't know if it competes with the mini. I have a mini Z that I'm keeping in the box. It's a little key truck. He says it accepts hard bodies. I don't know. I don't know what that means, to be honest. So anyway,
Or like the mini Zs, except the hard bodies. I think they use hard bodies
oh, I got you.
instead of a Lexan.
Yeah,
I don't know much about mini Zs. I don't think that's with a mini Z.
I got a stock.
With the
Oh, you're cutting out a little bit, but
sorry.
you'll be
I
all
don't
right.
think I don't think that's going to compete with a mini Z, especially with the new ones. I think it could run on a mini Z course, but maybe its own class.
Yeah, Joey's saying they race mini Z Saturday nights in Hermantown. So I have a mini Z that I'm not taking out of the box, but I got it for $50 at the Hobbyplex. It's a key truck. Yeah, it's rad. So like Joey lives up near Hermantown, so that's cool, but I'm not driving 2 hours to run mini Zs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
no,
drive
it's
2
cool.
hours to run Mod TC though.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Dude, I drove 2 hours to run Oval the other day, and it was awesome. And I drive 2 hours to run Fifth Scale, and that is awesome as well. So yeah, should we jump into World's coverage right now, or should we talk about some notes that we've had straying around?
Oh, let's do the Worlds real quick. I feel
Let's
like
do
it's
the
not
Worlds.
too crazy yet.
Yeah, it's disappointing because the Americans are coming back. I don't know if
I don't think that's right.
this is on the IFMAR page. This is after 3 rounds of qualifying right now. Juan Carlos Canas is sitting TQ right now. They got 3 more rounds to go. I think he was everybody's pick. He was definitely one of my picks. Angaro second, Coelho third. Didn't you say Coelho last episode? What was that?
We should have wrote him down. No, I thought I must have looked at something incorrect because it had.
Well,
maybe I was looking at Q3.
Yeah, you could have been looking at Q3. That's a totally because Dakota Fenn got third in Q3.
Yeah, that's what I have. I have Everlapse pulled up, which is their. If you don't know, I mean, you know, Joe, but for people not following the 8 scale worlds, which is the Nitro Worlds off road, Everlapse, the scoring system they're using.
Yeah, but Dakota Fenn, he's sitting at quality number 5. Ronald Falk surprisingly number 4. I didn't think he'd even be in the top 10, to be honest.
I didn't either, but he's solid number 4. 4 times.
Yeah, he's been looking really good. And then you got Boots in there. You got the Burkhan. You got the Killich that you said was going to be in there. Sit number 7. Battier in the top 10. How about that? Europe's Adam Drake sitting in the top 10.
I've never heard that before.
Well,
There's
well,
Johnny
'cause it-
Skidmore.
yeah.
Nobody
Well, the thing
has.
is, so sorry to interrupt, but Battier does the same thing with Mayako that Adam Drake does with Mugen. He's more of, I mean, he's still obviously an insanely fast driver, but he's not really paid to be a racer anymore.
Mm-hmm. He's
More paid,
transitioning.
right? Jake Shears saying World's JQ dissing Mayfield setup on Invisible Speed Facebook. He did too. It was kind of brutal.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Well, because JQ was talking, and this was during seeding, and he shows messages between him and Ryan Lutz saying, "Hey, Ryan, let's talk about what your car is doing." And Ryan Lutz changes it, and that was one of Ryan Lutz's better seeding rounds when he listened to JQ. And he tried talking to Mayfield, and it was like, eh. But yeah, we got a lot of Jorn Newman in the top 20. He's sitting number 17. Now that's wild to me. Joey's saying would be cool to see a little bump into the semis at least, if not the final. I really think he's gonna go. He's gonna go directly into the maybe directly into the semis. He's sitting in a spot right now that he could go directly into the semis. I think.
Well, how about
no, he's not. Sorry, he's not. Go ahead.
Oscar Baldo, the like lesser known of the Baldo brothers?
Yep.
Isn't one of them faster?
Yeah. But it's always nose and tail between brothers. Like Mason's faster than Caden and consistently faster, but every once in a while Caden will pull a rabbit out of his hat and beat his brother. Jacob's wondering, is it Buggy and Truggy? No, it's just Buggy. It would be cool if they added Truggy, but really only Americans race Truggy. It's predominantly an American class.
I'm looking at the times, and Caden's only 5 seconds behind Mason.
Yeah.
Not like that far back. But all these guys, but that's 51st to like 20th.
Yeah, I mean, look at Seth Van Dalen.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. There's a lot of really close racing. So I was trying to watch I watched the first round all the way through, and then I ran out of time. So I watched 10 to 14 for Q2, and I haven't watched Q3 yet.
Yeah.
But it's interesting so far. How do you think the world is going so far?
I think it's going fairly well. I think the track is too bricked up. I think tire wear is going to be a problem for the mains. I'm not familiar with IFMAR rules with off-road. I know with on-road, like A-Scale Nitro on-road, they allow tire changes, albeit the A-Scale on-road cars have the quick change wheels. And it's just a boom, boom.
I don't think anybody's changed tires before.
No, but there is a certain tire diameter that they have to fit into by the end of the race. They have to be at they have to make weight after the race, not just before, after as well. A-Scale tires are very heavy. If you're on the foams, are you going to make weight?
You're going to have to put more in. Just run heavy. Especially because at the end of the race, you're going to be on fumes too.
Yeah.
So you're not going to have a lot in the tank either.
Yeah.
You see Joey's question?
Yeah. Where do you think Tebow and Tessman would be sitting? I think Tebow at this one would not be sitting that great.
I think Tessman would be doing better.
I think Tessman would be doing better. Dude, a pillow ball car, man. This
I
track
think
is suited for
maybe
a pillow ball car. Oop,
I think Testament could be top 20, like around where Brandon Rose is.
yeah,
Uh,
I went.
maybe like somewhere in the B main ish.
Yeah,
Just because he was like not as dominant in the latter part of his career, and I think I I don't know I'd put Tebow in the top 50, not
yeah.
on this specific track.
Well, yeah. It's. I mean, but from number 1 to 50, it's so close.
Oh yeah,
Um. So does Quelo run X-ray, right?
yeah,
Yeah. So 4 out of the top 5 are pillow ball cars.
yeah. I mean Ronifolk and Coelho are extremely talented. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
like, and are the Baldos running X-ray too?
I'm not sure.
Let's see here.
Jacob's wondering what pits are going to be. I don't know. Like I said, so after 10 minutes, they're not on clay. Like most racers are not on clay compounds yet, but they're on the hard compounds of whatever tire company they have. And they're coming off after 10 minutes bald, absolutely bald. So it's, I mean, you're going to get a little bit more out of clay, but there's no way, I can't say no way, but it's very unlikely that you're going to get an hour out of any tire on this track. Um, Joey's wondering or is saying it's cool to see them race again someday. Well, Joey Tebow's been racing again, and he's been winning again at a pro level. He's just been keeping it around home, and he's been racing with his kids, which I think is super cool. It's like he took the break and he only went to races for the JTP gig, but now his boys are starting to race, so he's starting to race, and it's kind of like the pressure of being a pro driver is off, and he's just having a lot of fun out there, which is good to see.
hmm I if they could do a tire change, I could see a tire change being beneficial.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Dakota's gonna try and skip a pit stop again.
I think this track's too big.
He didn't he go? No, did he? Well, I didn't
He-
watch the qualifiers. He went in Q1. He pitted. I don't remember if he did in Q2.
I don't remember either, but man, this track, you don't F around. It's so big and it's so not the entire
But if
thing's not strapped, but they're laying rubber.
yeah, but if Drake went, he said he had plenty left. He could go 13 or 14 minutes.
Uh, well, Adam's different the way he
Yes,
tunes
but
his the way he tunes his I'm not talking driving because Adam's still doing very well at the worlds, especially for whatever. He's in the top 50, which is excellent. What Drake does is he leans the living piss out of his motor and he barely touches that throttle where other guys run a normal tune and they're super deep in their throttle. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that's how Drake gets that runtime. He can tune his car to run lean as hell, and he can drive it like that. That's another thing. Getting it to run that lean is super difficult. Driving it like that is also another difficulty way beyond my head, way over my head. So
So
it's
what do you?
that's how
So
he's getting mileage.
I mean, it's a to me right now the world is a battle for the top five, as you see
Yeah.
here. You got JC3, Angara, Coelho, Ronifolk, and Fed.
I would say, yeah, no, I would agree. I would
Barring, I
agree
mean, if they
because,
start and they go, and there's no like carnage in the front,
yeah,
I think the other guys don't have the pace to keep up. And that's not to say like JC3 or Angaro but Fenn put down, or not Fenn, Quelo put. They're all super, like, it's super close. I think it's going to be down to mistake. It's down to the normal stuff.
Right.
Mistakes,
Yep.
pits, tire wear is going to be big. You're right. I don't
It's going to
know.
be too big. It's going to be the biggest factor. Were you ever a NASCAR fan, Zach? Like in the early to mid 2000s?
No.
I was. So back in 2007 or 8, they resurfaced Indianapolis and they were doing the Brickyard 400. And they put these wide, like, ribs in the cement. And they were just eating tires. And racers had to change tires every 7 to 8 laps, and it became more about the tires than it did the racers. I think Juan Pablo Montoya won that. I don't remember exactly, but I compare it to this because, like I said, people are going out on hard compounds and they're coming off bald. It's
Are
to
they
the
going out on
groove.
bolts?
They're going out on
They
hard.
were still on mediums.
Yeah. So the track is so bricked up that it's not even a lot of spots aren't even taking rubber anymore. It's just tire dust flaking off the track now. So Joey's saying Fenda's due for Worlds. Dwayne, if they're only getting a little over 10 minutes on tires, what do you think 60 minutes is going to do? Joey's podium predictions: Ungaro, JC3, and Quelo. Man, I'm going to put Fenn 2. Fenn 2. Juan Carlos, Fenn, Ungaro. What do you think?
I really want Fenn to win because Fenn's my boy. But
Yeah, I want him to
I feel
win
like
too.
Fenn's is everybody's boy. But I would probably say I don't remember what I said last time.
Well, I think you
I'm
had.
gonna go.
I think you basically had what Joey Carlson has, but I might have been a different order.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Quelo JC3 Fenn.
Ooh. Now I like that. I do like that.
There's no bad answers. Like they're all good answers.
Jacob is wondering, do you think there will be more than one tire change? Here's the thing, Jacob. I don't know if they're legal. If they're legal, will it be worth it?
It takes a long time to change a set of tires.
How many people can you have? How many people can you have in pit road?
I've seen 2. Not everybody can have 4 people.
Well, no, that's the thing. There are rules on this, which I should have looked up before I came on. But let's say you can have 2. You have one guy working the tires and one guy working the fuel. And then when he's done fueling, he can help with the tires. It'll cost a lap, but you're going to gain that back if, let's say Juan Carlos changes his tires, but Ungaro doesn't. Ungaro's on his foams at 40 minutes in, while JCC still has some rubber, and they still have 20 minutes left to go. That he's going to get that time back because you fall off so hard once you're on slicks, and you fall off even harder when you're down to the foams. So I think if it's allowed, I think there will be one. I think they're going to do at least one tire change. And also, Zach, we're sitting there thinking like we're not thinking like guys who are in the pits trying to win a race for our drivers. I would have a battery powered Impact ready just to zip on and off.
I think you cross-threaded immediately.
I cross thread my. No, you do that in A scale a little bit. I cross thread mine before each main a little bit. Have you ever lost a wheel during a race? I know you didn't race A scale forever,
No.
but I have. It
Let's
sucks.
see.
You cross thread it slightly, and that nut will stay on.
Okay. I mean, no, I never had
It's
that
one of
problem.
those weird, stupid things. It's weird and it's stupid, but believe me, it works. And you don't like try to cross thread at like a 45-degree angle. You just get it so that it'll tighten, but there's that little bit of snag. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you
Wait, I'm
basically,
trying to find this in here, but
yeah. Joey's wondering, are they not running long wears yet? I know they were for Q3. I know they were on A1s and whatnot. I watched the No Name RC pod. I don't know if it's under the No Name RC podcast or Elite RC Productions, but Keenan and Max are doing work right now. So it's under the No Name RC podcast. They had an 18-minute recap of the Worlds today. And I know on round 3, your J-Con drivers were on A1 and everybody else was on hard long wear. Joey's wondering, have they changed tires in a Worlds before? I'm not sure about off-road, but I know they have an on-road for A scale. Jacob, do you think we'll see any blown tires in the main? Absolutely, if they don't change them. I mean, seriously, look around a little bit, and you're gonna see worn out tires after 10 minutes.
yeah, but are they only putting tires that last 10 minutes?
Any A scale tire besides, your okay, let's say they put mediums on. These should be getting more than 10s out of mediums. Joey says it reminds him of RCGP in the Philippines when Ronald kept debating tires and had his tires swapped multiple times in the main. Yeah, man. This is uncharted territory, definitely, with the tires.
I'm not seeing anything in the rules about a tire change.
So if it's not in the rules, then it's got to be allowed.
Well, it is. So it says in here, causes for penalties could be enacting contrary to IFMAR rules, or if the car fails technical inspection. It says when repairs are made to the car other than in the pit of the track, it can be punished.
Oh,
so
that's
I
great.
don't know. So you got to change the tires on pit row
I don't know.
or pit, just in the pit,
I don't know.
Anyway, that's interesting. That's really, well, the semis are, and the quarters are, how long are the quarters?
I want to say, I don't know about the quarters, but I believe the semis are 30.
Yeah, the semis, well, we'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out. Or do you
go ahead.
hold it? Do you put on a long wear tire do you psych other drivers out?
I don't know.
You put on like a real long wear for the quarters?
I think tomorrow they're going to have to be on real long wear or clay compound or they're going to die.
Okay, so we have the practice semi is 30, lower, and B sub-finals are 20 minutes each.
Okay.
So I guess 20 minutes.
So Jacob's wondering, for them to make weight at the end of the race, would you make your car heavier in the beginning or add more fuel at the end? Well, you're really not going to screw with your pit stops, Jacob. you're going to run what you run for pits. But
But the added weight is going to be huge on this
yeah,
Grippo.
now, here's the thing. I bet you after 10 minutes, everybody's weighing their cars. It is somewhat difficult to get a buggy underweight, but it is very possible. It's happened before. Did it happen at the Worlds or Aurora Nats?
I know Dakota runs his right on the edge.
Yeah. Well,
I
and
don't know
again,
about anyone else.
there is post-race inspection. I know that they check weight. Tire diameter might be an issue. I don't think it will be, but it might be. And again, this tire game, this adds a new layer that I really didn't think about. You weren't on this podcast in 2022, but we weren't talking about this. We weren't talking about tire wear and the track bricking up like it has. I mean, it grooved up in 2022, but it's nothing like what's happened so far.
Well, I think as the qualifiers go on, because we've got 3 more qualifiers. Are they 3 more tomorrow?
Yep. Well, they did 3 today, so I think it'd be 3 tomorrow.
Thursday, and then Friday are the quarters and semis, and then Saturday's the main.
Potential. Well, you got way more than you're going to probably start the 168s or something like that, or the 120. I don't know how far they're going down.
Yeah, that will probably be what it is then. They'll do 3 tomorrow and then do the brackets.
Yeah.
I think we'll start seeing it tomorrow, and we'll know. We'll just listen. They're talking about tire wear, and assuming the drivers are telling the truth.
I've seen pictures.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a paint marker, dude.
Yeah. But hey, Evan's checking in. But what if, now here's another what if that we have not discussed. Okay. What the crap? Oh, that's because I'm not sharing anymore. What if it rains? Now that throws the biggest. Now everybody's all like, oh man, we're this, we're that. And then it rains, you're back to softs and super softs. All that groove and all that crap is gone.
I think it depends how much it rains and when the drivers go out after that.
Yeah.
So if it rains, like, let's say a fair amount, but it doesn't destroy the track in the morning, or like the evening after, like, let's say they get done with all their qualifying and it rains for like a couple hours, but not super hard. In the morning, those guys, whoever's going out first, is going to get kind of a crappy track.
Yeah.
But as they run it in, it's going to go back to something maybe in the middle. Like, I think you would guess a medium, but it could go like super high because the track's going to dry out really quick. And then you go back to a hard. I don't know.
So that right there is after 10 minutes.
Yeah, but again, we don't know.
I know. Yeah, but here's the thing. If you run too soft of a compound, every step you run that's too soft, you're 4 to 6/10 off. So let's say it's I've seen it happen before. Like, I didn't plan for one race to having to be on clay tires, but I had a long wear medium. And I'm running I'm like, it feels really good, but I'm just off pace. My buddy borrowed me a set of tires and it's boom, instant. Tires are way too important to be screwing around with at the Worlds.
But if they just made the wrong choice,
that could be as well. And they could have.
We don't know because they were on mediums, and then because you're just going off what you think.
Yeah, that's
other
true.
People are telling you, and you're like, like this guy said hards, this guy said mediums. I've been on mediums. I'm just gonna stick to mediums,
Yeah,
and then you're off pace.
sure, sure.
So I can see it both ways. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just we don't know the full story. Is all I'm
Right.
saying.
Well, I'm excited for the rest of. Well, I'm excited for the mains. I'm really excited. I'm gonna be watching like the finals are probably gonna be early in the morning on. I should
At
look at the
like
schedule.
well, there's 6 hours ahead of us. So right now it is 3 a.m.
Yep.
Or well, 2 a.m. your time.
Yeah.
So if they start at 6, that's midnight for us.
Right. I don't
Which
think
is
that. I don't think they'd
no,
start
but
the finals that early.
if they started at 8, it's 2 a.m.
Yeah,
It
I
doesn't
think
matter when they start it. It's not going to be noon.
it might be noon our time. Might be. Yeah, I would probably say it'd be morning, but late morning. And again, should have looked at the schedule. They listed a schedule. I did
All
not
right.
look at it.
Well, anything else, Worlds?
No, I'm
All
just
right.
Team Associated. They've
Oh,
been going
yeah.
back and forth between the old car and the new car.
Well, I think his grip came up. I bet they're all on the new car now.
Yeah. Joey goes, where do you think Van Dalen will finish? Is this his highest qualifying spot in the world? I can't remember, Joey. I'm willing to bet he makes the semis. Obviously, I want him to make the finals. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I mean, he's ahead of Mayfield right now. He's the highest techno driver or highest
Which is
American.
crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, no, isn't
Highest
is it
American.
Yao?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the highest American techno driver, I should say. So, yeah, this is not. I mean, everybody's super fast. It's nuts.
I mean, we're talking the difference between like TQ and 50th place is like 10 seconds or something.
right.
It's not that much.
Usually,
Wait, it might be more than 10 seconds.
well, it depends on how you look at it as a whole or round 2, 3.
25. Well, that's 25 seconds. Never mind. Like we'll say 30 seconds, but that's not that much time.
Yeah. So, yeah, should we get into notes and then questions and call her a day?
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna start out. Nick Watlick quits Team Associated, goes to A Main. He's gonna be doing a lot of the social media gig, I believe, for him and whatnot. I think he'll do well there. That would be cool if he kind of made a deal with A Main to maybe combine that with Wally builds. So
I didn't know who that was.
Oh, gotcha. Jacob Schweisberger wondered, is it rocket rounds or qual points? They're doing the best 3 out of 6, Jacob. They normally do the best 4 out of 6, but they are not doing that this Worlds. That's going to be interesting because it could be an all new day tomorrow. I mean, think about it. Today might not even count. It might not even count. I mean, it's gonna. JCC and Garo and they're going to stay at the top. Coelho, all those guys.
Yeah, but if tomorrow gets slightly faster and they have 3 bad rounds and like Coelho has 3 great rounds,
yeah,
then it would go into a time, I would imagine.
Yeah. Joey seeing the Hoonigan filed for bankruptcy, better buy the Hoonicorn and Hoonigan truck rides. Do you see what kind of debt they're in, Zach?
1.6.
1.2.
Oh,
whoa, 1.2. You're right. I saw 1.6 about it. 1.2 billion with a B.
How do you even what? What are you doing? How
They're
do you take
rim salesmen. Yeah, I don't know, man. I know that they were bought out by somebody and they were like combined with another company and it just went to hell.
I know.
Yeah. Battery Gate. Well, I call it Battery Gate. It's not Battery Gate. Well,
Explain what. Yeah.
Roar has a new submission thing to where you have to get it tested yourself and then give them the results, basically.
Well, apparently this is not a new system.
No.
So I talked. So real quick. So Joe and I have been talking behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And we wanted to talk and see if he would come back on. And
Yeah.
Clayton said he did want to come back on. And I talked to Clayton about some of the rule changes and updates, I guess, that happened over the last couple meetings. And apparently the battery thing isn't anything different. It's just Roar being transparent about what they're doing now.
Okay.
So it's pretty much been the same thing, except the batteries went to an inspector, but he didn't specify what the inspector was looking for. Also, none of that information was listed on their website. So like but like it could be, this guy saying, "Hey, give me $100," and then he says, "Yes, it passes." Or
Yeah. Yeah.
does it did you do anything to it? Is it so now it's just more transparent? The money, I guess, stays with Roar.
Okay. Well, they could be looking, like I said, they could be looking for the stamp that says Rose compliant, this, that, and the other, and be like, okay, it's good.
Well, if you think about it, like if you stuff a 3S into a 2S case, like then that would be pretty evident when you go through tech. Like
sure.
when you pass tech.
Yeah.
I think they would test for that. That's pretty easy, but
the weight alone.
Yeah, the weight. Yeah, I mean,
Sorry.
yeah, but if
voltage is voltage at the end of the day.
Yeah.
8.4,
exactly.
but yeah. I think 3S would be dead if you charge it at 840.
Yeah, it'd be 2 and some %.
Yeah. More from Roar. They're seeking bids for national championships. Speaking of that, ENATS, dude, that's not a good thing. They gotta combine it with something.
Well, we can talk about the low results for ENATS, and we can talk about the low results for paved nats as well.
Yeah.
But
how many are signed up for paved nats?
Like 80 entries.
Okay.
Not that many. I don't know how many, but so I think it's scheduling. I think that Roar, and yes and no. I agree. I think that we can combine some things and make it better.
This year, definitely yes. It was 2 weeks before the Worlds.
Right. So, and then paved nats, you have Southern, whatever they're calling it, at EA's track.
Yep.
Mind you, the same person who is on the Roar board, same weekend. And so some of those guys that would be going to paved nats are no longer going.
Right.
And then the following week is the World's warm-up race in Bakersfield.
Yep.
So it's just bad scheduling. I don't know who dropped what on what, but I feel like EA with all three of these things, and he should be able to see a scheduling conflict.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I'm not there. EA didn't tell me anything, but I'm just like, that's what I see.
One good thing though, they increased payout for the tracks. So yes. So $20 per entry extra goes to the tracks. I think
they increased payouts twice.
Yeah. I think they increased entries to do this, but
they did.
it's if that money's going to the track, good. You know, extra $20. If that hurts you, you need to find a new hobby.
Well,
Drinking
and
PB,
people
drinking PBR. Go do that instead.
and people complain like the new price would be $120 for one class for the whole weekend. That's like
Yeah.
Thursday to Sunday. What the hell are you gonna do for $120 just to get in the door? You can't go putt-putting for $120 for 40.
No, no. And I've used this before, but I got Chinese food for everybody again tonight. It was $60 tonight. $60 to eat shitty Chinese food.
Well, I would stop buying shitty Chinese food, Joe.
I mean, it's good though. It tastes good. It's just so bad.
Okay.
And then there's a bunch of press releases about rule changes and whatnot, and
For the motors, yeah. So I talked a little bit to Clayton about this, and I
Yep.
didn't get to talk to him about the whole thing, and he's better off explaining this. So I explained it to you and to Clayton is this. I said, so when I see Roar does something now, since Clayton became president,
Yes.
I take it with a like a positive spin on it. Like I give them the benefit of the doubt. Like,
Right.
okay, there's a good reason they need to make this change, and it's not because manufacturer X says, hey, make this change. So essentially, and I don't remember which one of these rules it was, but we talked about this for like 30 minutes. So,
Okay.
but I'm going to give you the condensed version. So, the resistance of the motors that were set, like the limit,
Yep.
was just based off of good motors back when the resistance number was established. It wasn't based off anything scientific
Okay.
in terms of like a formula or like any like really replicable, measurable thing besides, that. And then like, for example, the 20 motor, and I hope I'm not throwing anybody on by saying this, but Clayton said that some of the manufacturers, he didn't name any names, were having to add filler to the motor so that they can make minimum resistance.
Oh.
So, and then I think, so there was that. So there's kind of a twofold thing. So if you take out the minimum resistance, the motors are going to get slightly lower. They're
Yep.
pretty low right now, but if you have, you have to have so many lines of wire, and you have to have so many in the gauge. So you can only get the resistance so low. Like it's only going to be, you only can get it so low. Like that's just how
Right.
it's going to be.
Right.
And Clayton says that it's close to that now. They're going to get slightly lower, but then also with the epoxy rule, you're going to have a lot more fade, which I'm personally a big fan of. I don't think, but I like the fade from a racing standpoint, let me say, because I
Yeah.
think it adds to the racing. Like
It
12
does.
scale, I think that is a big part of 12 scale because
For
they'll
sure.
start out and they'll end 0.8 a lap slower than when they started,
Yes.
which is huge.
Massive.
But from a racer standpoint, that also means your motor's getting smoking hot, and that rotor is gonna go and take a dump.
It
if
will.
gets too
Yeah.
hot. So
Yeah. Jeff checking in saying Panda Express family meal is 35. Jeff, you don't have a teenage boy. Well, Joey's almost a teenager, but man, it's hard to keep that kid full. So it's kind of funny you bring up 12 scale. So last year when I was announcing the Christmas Classic, which I'm going to be announcing again this year, he's got 6 people. I'm going to be announcing again this year when 12 scales, let's say, would end on 70 laps. if they weren't on 78 laps pace within like the first minute of the race, I could say you are not near TQ pace. That's how hard they fade. That's how hard I know they're going to fade, which is wild. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, good insight. We do got to have Clayton on again. You introduced me to Clayton actually and had me have him on the show. I really like
And
talking to the guy.
so he said he's down to come on again, and he said he's down to answer questions. And I also um, encouraged him a lot to make some videos about why rules are changing, because
Mm-hmm.
people think that whatever, I don't know, you name your reason, but people think it's disingenuous, it's bad, it's for some reason that's not in the best interest of the racer.
Well,
And while
because
I disagree with some of these changes,
yes,
it's not that I agree with the changes. It's
right,
that I could see why they made the changes in the first place.
sure. Um, it's hard, even though you and I know Clayton and crew are trying to do the best that they can. We know that in the past, it was not the best that they could do. And if they did something, it was for their profit, their pocket. Like, it felt like somebody was in their pocket before. I can't say that for sure, but it sure as hell felt like it. Um, Jeff saying Roar got on the same page as the rest of the world as far as rules go. That's good for all manufacturers and good for the 1% of American racers. Yeah. So I'm trying to bring up the new, it's all worlds coverage. I'm not seeing it. The new X-Ray 25 chassis. You wanted me to bring it up, but I'm
Oh,
not.
well, so X-Ray released I think the X425. It's not available yet. So every year about this time, they start releasing new models. They
Yeah.
have they have the cell phone or whoever, I don't know, one of them came out with it. But every year
iPhone.
they release a new model.
Yeah.
I really don't like this model. I also not a big fan of what I was a very big fan of what Osmatics was doing for a little while with the MMX. They had, they came out with the kit. They encountered some problems. They sent some updates out, and then
Yep.
they became running changes in the kit, which is great. And then, there's some tuning parts that came out, and then just kind of like eventually after like 4 or 5 years, some of those parts just kept becoming more and more kit parts,
Yeah.
which is really cool. Right now, Awesomatics has like this is going to be their second chassis this year, third
Ooh.
maybe in 2 years if you count the one that Awesomatics USA is having made, which would be the Flex chassis.
Yeah.
So Awesomatics USA has like the standard aluminum chassis or I don't remember which
Right.
one, but one of them cut out to make it a Flex chassis. And then Awesomatics launched the RAF chassis, which is a flex aluminum chassis with the option to put tungsten weights in, similar to the Rebellion chassis with the brass weights.
Yep.
And now Awesomatics is coming out with a steel chassis, which they've been testing for a while.
Steel.
Steel, yeah, steel. It's
What kind
very
of steel?
we don't know.
Okay.
It's gonna have to be some kind of stainless. So about this would have been 11, 10, I don't know, a long time ago. 10, 11 years ago,
Mhm.
when VTA rules were still at 1550 grams for the car weight.
Yep.
I had some steel chassis made out of a steel that would rust, but I didn't really comprehend that at the moment. So anyway, so steel chassis aren't anything new. We don't know anything about it. Jeremiah, when I say chassis, I mean just the chassis plate, not the physical car. Most of the car components are the same. It's just like a graphite versus aluminum chassis. It's a different. There's different options.
But also,
Um, yeah.
Jeremiah, from the point 1 to the point 3, you could easily update. Associated and X-Ray do a lot of the same things to where you can update last year's model with the new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know if they give you. I know Team Associated gives you a list, and I know, like, let's say Techno comes out with a new car. Fierce RC, they're an online hobby shop. They'll come up with a list of what's different from the last Techno to this Techno, and if it is upgradable or not.
Rick, I would disagree. So Rick says it only gets really bad when they release massive changes multiple years in a row. For the most part, X-Ray doesn't do that. I don't know particularly well with their off-road cars, but with their on-road cars, from the X4 starting, which I think is the X422, to the X423, to the X424, there are some massive changes that buying a new kit each year is going to be cheaper than, or maybe not cheaper isn't the right word. It's going to be cost ahead because then you can sell your old kit. You're going to have to buy $500 in parts.
Right.
And then, or something to that effect, don't quote me on the numbers here. Then you to get the new car. I don't know off-road wise, so I can't really state that. And maybe it's not the case with all models, and this is just a select period we have.
Yeah.
And Jeff is right too. You don't have to buy them.
No, they ain't saying, but yes, you do. Well, in on-road, I can see it. Off-road, I mean, it's weird. It's like on-road still, well, touring car is still 20 years, no, not 20. I would say 15 years behind in development than off-road. So I'm saying in general. I'm not saying in actual cars. So off-road racing really started in 1982. I'm not saying technology-wise. Technology-wise, touring cars are way better.
Okay.
Touring cars didn't really start till, some say 94. I say 96. So you have that big gap to where you're making bigger leaps and bounds with the touring cars still. Not really with the 12 scales. The 12 scales, well, Osmatics kind of flipped over the monopoly board, to be honest. Because before that, they were just inching with 12 scales. But now we're at a point with off-road that it's like we're inching forward just ever so slightly with every new kit, to where with on-road, you might still every couple of years have a big, massive swing with changes. Because you're still in that hard development stage.
Yeah. I think off-road could do that, but they're keeping the part or the kits cheap and making people some of the stuff they're making them do. I would say that I feel like off-road could do better with some of the things that they do. I understand that they want a cheap kit to be like enticing to customers, but when you have to buy a $300 some kit and then you have to go buy like $200 in stuff to make it work with your,
it sucks.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's not like all necessary stuff, but some of it's like tuning parts that you really should probably include with the kit.
Yeah. There's also crap.
Go ahead.
I was going to say there's also crap you have to buy if you're running stock that if we ran mod, you wouldn't have to buy, and you would basically run not a stock kit, but a closer to stock kit. But again, so me, Jeff and John Shore were talking about mod off-road in a group chat today, and it's like, it's just not, it's harder and it's slower, period.
Mhm.
If it was faster and worth the effort, it would be worth it, but it's not at all.
Well, the stock cars are so fast.
Yeah.
Like I ran mod 4-wheel buggy, and I kind of suck.
Yeah.
And
But
like
if
I
you
could get around,
go ahead.
I could get around the track competently, and I could like do good laps, like good, but like compare myself to like a national fast guy and like running, a 13.5 wheeler, and I was 2 laps off of pace.
Yeah. Yeah. Jeff's wondering, buy a 2-wheel drive buggy for $450, then pay $200 to $300 for upgrades, or buy a kit for $700 to $800. What's the difference? Well,
Depends on the kit, Jeff. Depends on the kit.
depends on the kit, but it's like a meme I posted earlier today on my story, but it works with so many other things. That $450 then $300, that's like paying the stripper to make her pretend that she likes you. It's all fake. It's just dumb. Jeremiah's wondering, anyone looking at running the new Agama 10 scale this winter? It looks pretty interesting. I haven't heard anything, but I hope somebody competent does, to see if it actually works. I want to see a nationally fast, competent driver put it on the track and see what it can really do. Yeah, but that's all I got. Just a bunch of junk. I got questions, and then that's it. I'm
Let's
pretty
do 'em.
tired. Last night I was playing drinking games with myself during the debate, and then I went to jiu-jitsu this morning.
Oh, Joe.
Dude, I had like a buzz 19 minutes in. But anyways, Joe Garcia is wondering, for a seasoned racer, is it frowned upon running a 21.5 class? He means off-road, like buggy, 2-wheel buggy. The track doesn't have any rules slating a seasoned racer can't run it, or a 21.5 typically geared towards newbies. Well,
Can I answer this one?
you can, and then I will.
Okay. So, if you have to, I feel like I should preface this by saying, if you have to ask, should I be in this class? The answer is no, you should not be in the beginner class. There should be an echelon of classes. There should be a class for newer people to enter into. There should be a middle class, and that may be the bottom part, the bottom mains of a faster class, and then a way for you to rise to kind of be like faster.
Yes.
I think that when I'm gonna take Euro Truck for example, because that's kind of what I know. When all the fast guys, including myself, because Euro Truck is the funnest class I have driven, maybe more fun than Mod T in a different way.
Yeah.
And I think guys like me ruined that class, because we jumped in there and we pushed out the guys that were just could join the class for $300, and we ruined it. I think, if you're looking at a beginner style class and you're not a beginner, I think you don't do it. Don't go cherry picking. Don't go trophy chasing. Go do what's best for the track. Now, let's say you don't have enough entries one night for 21.5 buggy, and you want to be a nice guy and throw down a 21.5 buggy to help make a class, that's different. That's a whole different thing.
My thought is, it's not necessarily a noob class, but it's an intermediate level driver class. So if you're running, not at Aurora National because they don't have separate classes, but if you're at a national event and you're running independent or intermediate, and you're not like mopping the floor with the other guys and you're competing, but you're not just I would say that's more of a 21.5 class.
Okay.
I would also add this caveat, and this is going to upset some people, but I would add the caveat: if you are sponsored, you shouldn't be allowed to run a lesser class.
Yeah, and I think taking the true definition of sponsorship in the late '90s would be appropriate, not a contract customer.
I'm a contract customer, and I would feel funny if I ran it.
Yeah, but you're almost good enough not to be a contract customer.
Yeah, I'm competently average, Zach.
I mean, okay.
This was sent to me in a PM. It's just kind of a joke, but it's not. Buddy sent me, he goes, question for the pod, why is RM sucking? But then we look deep into it. Ryan Mayfield isn't sucking. It's just that close of a field. Jeff goes, nah, I had to stop being an elitist douche about what classes people run. You need to stop it too. Unless the class is split expert, intermediate, or novice, it's all fair game. I don't.
No, I disagree.
I kind of do too. So
I think there should be a class that should be for people that are not me. Like I don't think I'm that good, but I think I'm better than a new person. And I don't think that I should go compete with new people unless they come to a more advanced class. Like if there is a 21.5 buggy and I drop down and I start winning it all of a sudden where I was in the D main in 17.5 buggy, yeah, I don't think that's fair. I think there should be, like, when I first started racing, there was a stock and a novice, and then the '08 crash hit, and then we kind of didn't have enough cars to do stock and novice, and
well,
so
yeah,
we combined them into one, and then
right.
you just had the lower mains and the higher mains, and that's okay. But I think, like, if you have like 3 classes and they're all non-beginner classes, go run whatever you want. I don't care. But if you
Sure.
have a class that's like supposed to be for newer people and you're dropping down to run in that class and you're winning consistently, like, I think it should be up to you to push to the next class.
Here's a great example. So right before I got sponsored by you, I was running at the Hobbyplex. It was like 2018-ish, and they had the ProTech Spring Championship race. They have it every April. And I was running independent. I had no sponsors. Dude, I felt like such a dickhead. I TQ'd every round, no problem, and won 2 of the 3 mains, and I won the dash for cash. No problem.
Yeah.
And
you didn't do it.
Yeah, I felt funny after that. It's like, dude, it's like, it was, and they weren't all children. It wasn't like a child-filled class. They were adults. Like my dad was racing with us. It just didn't feel right. Like when I signed up for independent, I'm like, oh, independent, I wasn't thinking independent as a skill level. I was thinking independent as non-sponsored drivers is what I was thinking it. There was definitely a disparity in skill level as well.
And I mean, that's okay. Like, somebody's got to win and somebody's not going to win. And that's okay. Like, but if and you found that out, and then the next time you signed up, you went to the next class, or if, we're all racing 17.5 buggy and I'm beating the pants off you every week, the only class we run, well, you know what? Then that's what it is.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
If you have an echelon of classes and you have something for what should be a class, in my opinion, I think it's up to the seasoned racers and the race directors to help promote people without ruining it. Like, you have to explain what's going on. And like, if you only have 5 people in that class, you know what? Just let them run. Like, that's what it is. If you only have enough to make the class, all right, that's cool. There's a lot of exceptions to these rules. It's not like they're hard and fast.
Yeah.
But
and Brian's saying 3 wins in a class in a series should auto bump you to the next class. And again, like you said, Zach, if you have enough people.
Yeah.
because that is one of those situations. It's like, well, you bump 3 people to expert and you have 2 people left in intermediate or 21.5 and 17.5. At some point, you got to look at the amount of people. But right now, with what happened last year, halfway through the season, Minnesota's slow on everything. They started allowing 21.5 at some dollar races, and they started allowing 21.5 at the toy box. And every race, it was bigger and bigger and bigger with guys that were maybe made the A sometimes, but not really, guys who belonged in that class.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
And,
it's
and it was great. My son's in that class, and believe me, the second he can graduate out of it, I'm kicking his ass back to 17.5.
I mean,
Because
I think there's a lot of classes that work for your skill level. It's not necessarily like, and especially as you get older, generally you go to slower classes, and that's
right,
okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah,
And if you're racing the 40 plus class and you're winning, and you're just kind of, I don't know, that's a bad example.
Matt Kroenig saying 21.5 class would be good for him, but he needs to slow down. But he doesn't know how he'd feel about running it. Matt, you haven't been racing for a year yet. It would be fine if you went down to 21.5. I get what I mean, but don't be stuck there. Is my point. Don't be stuck there. Yeah. Oh yeah, Jeremiah's got a point. He goes, I think some would run 17.5 and 21.5 just for the extra wheel time.
That's
Bang
okay.
for the buck.
If you should be in the 21.5 class and you want to run the 17.5 class too, okay.
Sure.
No problem.
Yeah.
But if you should be in the 17.5 class and you're making the A main or you're TQing or whatever, and you drop down to the 21.5 class, I think that that shouldn't be allowed unless the whole. Yeah, no, that's fine.
But I do have a feeling soon to I can't even talk. I have a feeling that the organizations are going to make 21.5 the new stock eventually.
I think we should go back like 10 turns.
Yeah.
The next stock should be like 31.5.
Yeah, we've talked about this ad nauseum about how fast 17.5s are these days. But
Sorry.
no, I
This
get
is a topic I'm very passionate about because I think it's part of the reason why RC doesn't grow.
17.5 nowadays is insanely fast.
Well, both things, the speed and the I've lost the word. The levels of the echelon of classes. I don't know if echelon is the right word, but like there should be a class like for people to get used to racing in.
Yeah.
And whether that's novice or 21.5 or call it whatever you want. Or even if it's the back of the 17.5, that's okay too. But if you're going to have a special class for it's not slower because it's designed for people that are fast in the fast class to go be fast in the slow class.
Right. All right. A couple more questions here. Hold on. Logan LeBeau is wondering about my thoughts for the upcoming Dirt Oval season. Well, Logan, I'm pumped about it. I ran my sprint car for the first time, like I said earlier in the episode. It was so much fun. You know what's cool about the sprint cars? I know you don't care about oval or really like oval. With the sprint cars, when they pass you, you can feel legitimate like wind coming off of the cars. It's freaking crazy. I'm going to be at the hobby farm. I want to hit a couple races at the Hobbyplex, and I also want to hit a couple races down in Muscatine as well for oval. And I want to get down in your area, Zach. It's just a tick too far.
Oh, quit with your excuses.
I know.
I'm done with them. You put them up on that wall behind you with those other bodies.
Yeah, I know. Jacob Schweisberger is wondering, what are my plans for winter, and what are your plans for winter racing, Zach?
So I'm not doing any carpet racing until after the Worlds. So
Yep.
I'm missing the first part of the carpet season essentially. My first carpet race is probably going to be the indoor champs on Thanksgiving weekend. I might go clubbing in December. I might not, depending on how holidays and business works out. Then in January, I am hearing that Drew Ellis is going to be having the Hootie race again at his new facility. So I would like to go see
Nice.
that.
Yep.
That's generally around the first week in January, and I'm hoping it's not the same week as Clash of Champions because I
That was
can't.
fun.
Well, I got to go do the business thing. I'm going to Clash, like regardless.
Yeah.
And then there's some regional races that are going to be held at the lower in Southern Michigan that I plan on
Okay.
going to. I would love to get out to a couple more tracks this year, but I don't know how it's going to go. It's going to depend on my family, and it's going to depend on how big it is.
Yeah.
So ultimately, I'm probably just going to be clubbing the rest of the season because I did my big hurrah this summer, and it's
Sure.
not really fair if I take, weekends off every other week to go somewhere, especially because I'm planning on traveling a lot this summer, spring to go to off-road races.
Right. And it's one of those weird things. But when your daughter becomes old enough, and if she has the want to race, oh, dude, it's wonderful to bring your kid, and then your wife doesn't get nearly as mad because you're bringing your kid you're spending time with your kid. You know what I mean? But
she doesn't get mad. She
no,
just
she doesn't get
like,
mad. That's wrong. It wears on them.
yeah. And you when you're doing
Yes.
something wrong.
Yeah, not wrong if you're just
Well,
overdoing something.
both things. You could be either way.
Yeah.
When
Well,
you're fucking up as a grown man.
yeah.
Like what you're supposed to be doing.
Well,
You're
that's why
supposed to be at home with your family. You've got this responsibility that you signed up for.
That's right. That's why I switched my jiu-jitsu to 6 a.m. Because nobody cares where I'm at 6 o'clock in the morning. And then I just do kickboxing Tuesday and Thursday and Sundays when I'm not racing. Brian's wondering, am I announcing at Dollar for Off-Road? No, Brian. Unfortunately, I'm not. I believe Brian Post is doing Friday Off-Road. I'm going to be doing the Christmas Classic on-road racer, but last year it just, I don't know, man. It was too much with my new job because I would have with my old job, I would have a couple hours before I had to be at Dollar. And then there's a couple times last season where I was almost late, which would have been not a good thing.
What are your plans for this year, Joe?
Oval and a lot of oval and a lot of carpet off-road and a lot of AstroTurf off-road. Yes, dirt oval. I can't afford carpet oval. I'm not rich.
I know.
Yeah. People think, oh, you think the guy next to you with the 17.5 buggy is cheating? Oh, mess with those oval guys. Those oval guys, especially on the carpet, bring cheating to an insane level. If you want to learn how to cheat with your motors, talk to a stock carpet oval.
ESCs.
Huh? Yeah.
Everything. If there's any room for anything, they're in it.
Yeah. Some of it is excellent wrenching, making sure everything's perfectly free and buttery, smooth, and no binding.
That's a different thing than we're talking about. We're talking about
It
cheating.
is.
We're not talking about getting a good car. We're not talking about testing products to see which one's the best, even though I think that's ridiculous to an extent as well.
Yes.
I don't think you should be able to buy 500 motors or 500 batteries and then see which one's better.
God, I could name so many names about that.
Well, I think it should be like that's it. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
We ain't got time for that.
No, so Phil Jones, who talked me out of full scale racing a couple weeks ago. So I've been racing with Phil for years, and I actually worked with him for a little bit, and he's a good dude. I saw him at Hoosier, and he's like, I'm talking about racing big cars, and he's like, so you're gonna have a motor guy on retainer? I'm like, what? What do you mean? And then I'm talking to him about the actual cost of things and what other people told me things cost, and there was a big discrepancy because Phil has actually raced big cars.
It depends
He's
on the level you do it at too.
Yeah, that's true. But Phil knows me, and he knows I'm an extremely competitive person. Um, Phil is wondering about. Oh, we were talking about Hoosier earlier. He wanted me to talk about that. I talked about Hoosier. I'll tell you what, Zach. I did not leave Hoosier until 12:30 a.m. But I was so happy to do it because that time in between rounds, the dude aerated, watered, and packed the track in between every round, and it was
Which track are we talking about?
no,
Hoosier?
not your Hoosier. We have a Hoosier in Minnesota. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay. I
Yeah,
didn't know. That's okay.
yeah,
I just
yeah,
don't. I don't know.
yeah. Actually, this Hoosier has been around, I think, longer than your Hoosier. It's just it's a tri-oval on the border kind of Wisconsin and Minnesota. I've known about the place for years, but I just started racing oval, so I had no reason to go down there.
It's
Um,
interesting that they call it Hoosier because Indiana is the Hoosier state.
I think they call it Hoosier after Hoosier tires.
Also in Indiana.
I know. Well, yeah, based out of. I was going to say there's Hoosier Tire North, like less than a block away from me. And he's talking about there's upcoming season at the Hobby Farm, which I'll be going to. The North Star Series. Oh, so they do this summer series for oval tracks that include the Hobby Farm. There's a track up near the Iron Range, which is 3 hour. It's like almost every track is 2 to 3 hours from me, just like you. So there's a track 2.5, 3 hours north in Hibbing at the Iron Range, and a track 2 hours south that they might be adding to it next year. So yeah, good to know. And then the last one, Kelly Roberts just posted the Lucky 13 schedule for the rest of the fall. Lucky 13, we've talked about it before. It's my buddy Scotty Shuttles track. He actually, him and Chris Sleep, they built my iRacing rig during COVID, and they did it out of scrap steel and a Chevy Cavalier seat, and it works awesome. Oh, Jeremiah's saying carpet try oval by Mason City, Iowa too. Like I said, Jeremiah, I'm not doing carpet, man. I'm doing dirt. I can't afford to race carpet oval. That's a whole level of whatever that I'm not prepared for. So, yeah. Oh, I'm excited for the next coming months. I'm excited for the world's finale, though. Mainly, I want to see.
Yeah.
I want to see what they do in the pits. I want to see what they do in the pits. I'm so excited. Are they going to try to get an hour out of tires?
Sorry, dude. I got wrecked at jiu-jitsu last night.
Oh yeah, that's me. So I'm usually the highest belt in the morning, so I'm always the dummy, like the highest student belt. And yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Sometimes that's okay. We did X guard.
Yep.
And we were doing sweeps, and oh man, and then
Yeah.
I got swept, and some dude, as both of us came down, I got bonked on the head pretty good.
Oh,
And
that
then
sucks.
I should have probably tapped. I didn't tap, so it was thing, and then
Screw tap. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't like it was a crank. It didn't like. And some of the cranks they don't really hurt, and some of the cranks they do. I don't know. I don't know enough yet.
You do know enough, and I'll tell you this much. If the curtains aren't closing, or if when something's going to break, if nothing's going to break, I don't tap. I ignore the pain. It's difficult to do.
Well, this was so one of the black belts was
Oh,
doing he was doing it because I was kind of stuck in a position and he didn't want to like do it, and so he was baiting me to do something. And I wasn't going to do anything. I'm waiting for him to do something to give me an opportunity, because every time I give them something, I get problems. They're nice to me, but it's, I'll get tapped out pretty quick if I'm just like giving up an arm here and there.
yeah.
And so he did like one of those things where you push down on the chest and you up, and
Yep.
then he got my I was trying to turn my head to get away from a choke, and he got his arm in there and kind of extended my neck, and it cracked a few times, which normally feels okay. But this time my neck's kind of sore from it.
Does your coach always give you shit like every time like something pops or whatever? He goes $20 after class.
No, my coach is nice.
Yeah, my coach is nice too, but he just jokes. So real quick though, I'm looking at the weather for Redavon. It's going to be 93. Well, it's today for them, but Friday and Saturday cool off significantly.
What are we talking? 80?
79 on Friday for a high, and sunny. 80 and cloudy, overcast on Saturday.
Interesting. Well, that's definitely going to play a role.
It's a huge role, especially since they've been dealing with 90s and sun.
I wonder if by then that's going to affect the track much, though. It's definitely going to lower the grip, but like, is it just going to is it going to make it slippery, or is it just going to bring the grip level down?
You're going to have to go down on tires again. Brian saying, huh?
That doesn't, not necessarily. You could be at the top end of where, you put your hardest compound on, and now the grip goes down just a little bit, so now everyone gets to go faster because it's where the optimal grip level is.
Right. Brian saying Jackson is excited to race with Joe 3 again. Building kits now move Joe 3 to 17.5 with Jax. We'll see how it goes, Brian. We'll see. But we got to end this thing, man. I got to go to bed. You got to go to bed.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you so much, Joe. I appreciate you.
Dude, it's been awesome having you on the podcast.
I hope I bring, I said this before, but I feel like I don't add a whole bunch.
You do, though.
Yeah, I know, but that's how I feel.
I know.
So thank you guys for watching. And if you have any questions or want to see anything, comment or message Joe. Yeah. You can message me if you want to. Joe is going to be better at keeping notes. I send everything to Joe.
Yeah, he sends everything to me and I write them down. You see me looking at my phone. I'm not like on my phone ignoring people. I'm looking at my notes. So, all right, guys. So I'm Joser Jr. and with me has been Zach Donathan, and we have ran out of talent.